videos so that they can speak when they're, asked a question.
And I'll announce that when I do the rules.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I see it's 10:30. 10:30. Welcome to the special open meeting of the corporate members of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods of California Nonprofit Mutual Benefit Corporation. This Monday, August 31st, 2020, 10:30 a.m. virtual meeting. So I'm calling this meeting to order. We don't really need a quorum here, but I would like to hear a motion to appoint Catherine Laster as the Inspector of Election by the chair. Okay. So do I have a motion to appoint Catherine Laster?
I so move, Juanita.
We have a second?
I second it. Margolis.
Okay. Any discussion? So if there's no objection, Catherine Laster will be the Inspector of Election for this corporate meeting. So do I hear a motion to approve the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Oh.
Okay. All those in favor of the approval of the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
I can. Okay. Since I can't see any of you, I'm assuming. Let me talk to Grant. Do we have a majority to approve the agenda?
We do, President.
Okay, thank you. Then are there any that oppose at all? No. Okay, no discussion. Then the agenda is approved. So I'd like to introduce, the candidates, and this is for the term ending 2020. And let it be known, if you get elected, you will also, choose to stay with us in GRF. Then you would also need to be part of the election for the election at the end of the year. Okay. Can you take my my credit card? Okay. All right. You guys, I'm sorry. All right. All right. Here you go.
Everybody will take your credit card.
Well, it took me a week to get an appointment, for him to come back, so I couldn't take a chance, of being delayed any longer. Okay. So I'd like to introduce, and I hope that everybody, that's here. And the first person is Deborah Dotson. I see her. Okay. Jeffrey Grider. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Morning.
Oh, thank you. All right. Bradford Park. Is there Brad? Okay, we don't see him here.
You skipped Joan.
Do you see him? I don't. Okay. I hope I pronounce this right. Ishan Shikabale?
Ishan Sakabi.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. And Jonah Zerner. Okay, I see him. Okay. And did I mention your name, Joan? If I didn't, I apologize. I really do. Okay, so we have 6 candidates, and so now I'm going to turn the meeting over to Judith, and she will be interviewing candidates with questions that GRF as previously approved for candidate questions. So go ahead, Judith.
Okay, good morning. And to repeat Bunny's rules, I have Dan and Manny and another person that is not a candidate. If you could turn your cameras off and your speaker off, it'll help us with the bandwidth and communications will be better. And the candidates, keep your cameras on, but keep your speaker off until it's time to speak. So I'm, who just raised their hand? Okay. I'm going to I have my own list in my own order. So these are going to be the rules. You know me, I've always got to have my rules. Okay, so welcome to the Meet the Candidates. And this election is to fill one seat on the GRF Board of Directors. And possibly this is the shortest election term we've had in history. It's a 72-day term. And those that are math geniuses or gurus, I did not count today, and I did not count November 12th. Because on the 12th, we will be seating 4 new directors for 4 new seats, starting a new 3-year term, which may or may not be any of the candidates here today. So why is it important that we fill this seat for just 72 days? Well, as you know, there are 11 directors on the board. That's an odd number. Right now, we only have 10 directors, which makes it difficult to finalize any business when there is a 5-5 tie on a very important vote. So therefore, we need that odd director. And I don't mean that you guys are odd. I just mean we need an odd number. So before I introduce the candidates, we had several interruptions from the viewers last time we did this. And it was very disrespectful to the candidates. So I just want to note that I'm using my own list in my own order and with the questions that were reworded for grammar and clarity. So both myself and the candidates and the rest of the audience would appreciate if there are no outbursts from the audience, and we would like to thank you in advance for that respect. Also, we did not open this audience up for questions because it leads to too much interference and disruption of the process itself. So if you are in the audience and you want to be considered or have a question considered, I have a list of additional questions here, and you could put your question in the chat box. Then at the end of my list, I could add your question to my auxiliary list. If you do not have a chat box, I cannot take any verbal questions from the audience. I apologize, and I'm sorry that we cannot do that. Even if you put a question in the chat box, it doesn't guarantee that your question will get asked. It may even already be on my auxiliary list. So I, once again, am going to do my own roll call in the order of which I have people listed. Bradford Park. Say here if you are present, so I can put a face to the name. And he wasn't here earlier. And so maybe he was having trouble checking in. Okay. And Grant, you'll notify us if he checks in. Okay, Deborah Dotson.
Here.
There's Deborah. Thank you, Debbie. Isan Shakabai. I talked to him yesterday. He said his equipment was all set up. Is he here? Dude.
He's muted. He's muted.
Okay. Isan, hit your sound bite, your microphone. Turn it on. We cannot hear you yet. Hit it again. It looks like a microphone. It's a little icon at the bottom of the screen. Maybe staff, you can turn it on for him. Are you able to do that? No, we can't hear you. We're going to have someone else turn it on for you. Nope, still can't hear you. Grant, are you able to
move his mouse? It'll show up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I am also having difficulties unmuting his mic.
Oh dear, that's going to be a problem. Okay, Isan, we
Going to
cannot
move his mouse.
move your mouse.
We have, can staff ask him, call him and ask him to call in by phone?
Yeah, I think Grant said he's working on it. He was having trouble. Grant is having trouble at staff's end as well. Okay, while we're working on that, I'm going to see, at least I know he's here. We don't know if we're going to, he's writing something, he's missing something.
He says he's using his phone.
Could you
Oh.
please try recalling in using your phone?
Yeah, Isan, call back in using your phone. Because staff did not connect you. Okay, Jeffrey Grider.
Yes, here.
Okay, we see you. Thank you, Jeff. Joan
Yep.
Milliman. I see you. Jonah
here.
Zerner.
Here.
Here.
Okay, thank you, Joan. And Jonah, we see you. Okay, so we still do not have Brad, and we're still having trouble with Isan. So I'm going to continue on with some of the instructions, and then I'll go over them again with Isan when we get to him. There are 10 questions already pre-selected that were turned in by the directors, ranging anywhere from 1 to 2 minute answers. They were picked in random order. They will not follow any pre-constructed list or order that anyone in the audience has. So please do not say or jump in and say I missed anyone, because I'm following my own list. At the 30-second mark, which means you only have 30 seconds left to speak on that question, I will hold up this red card. If you see this red flag, that silently tells you you have 30 seconds left to speak. Then when your time is up, you will hear these chimes. Well, it's supposed to be. Did everybody hear those chimes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Okay. That's as loud as I
Again, Judith.
can go. Let me do it again, but it won't go right.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So that's as polite as I can get when it says, okay, stop talking, time's up. But we're not going to be that strict. All the questions and time to ask them and the answers adds up to about 70 minutes, plus the extra 8 minutes that it's taking to get set up. Okay, let me continue. So, as far as the time goes, and I don't see any of this caller, so I guess we're still working on Isan. Okay, as a GRF director, you are obligated to be familiar with the GRF bylaws, Robert's Rules of Order, the GRF Trust, the GRF Board Operating Rules, and the Code of Ethics. Since this can be a scary process for some of us, I swear I only asked 4 out of the 10 questions from these governing documents. Have I scared anybody away? Okay, good. Okay, there are 10 questions. And the first question is, the answer is 2 minutes, or you have up to 2 minutes to answer. All 6 or 5 candidates will answer this question. And they'll be in the following order. So you can write these down. First is going to be Brad. And I think, did he show up? No. Okay, so I'm going to have to cross him off. So then first will be Debbie. Then Isan, if we get him back. Third will be Jeff. Fourth will be Joan. And fifth will be Jonah. And don't forget about the 30-second mark and the chime.
Director Troutman,
So,
I just wanted to interrupt 1 second. I believe We have Mr. Shekbe. He has called in, I believe, as caller 7, as you can see on the screen. If you please state your name.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't have any video. So I use the phone number and access code.
That's fine. We can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just go with that. Now, you didn't hear any of the rules. I'll just go over some of the main points. Since you can't see me, I'll have to tell you when you have 30 seconds left, and then tell me if you can hear these chimes. When you are out of time, can you hear
Yes.
those chimes? Okay.
Yes.
That means your time's up, and you need to wrap it up as soon as possible. So those are the main things. So the first one to speak, and Isan, you will go second now, and Jeff is third, Jonah's fourth, and Jonah will be fifth now, in that order. And I will let you know again. You don't have to remember that. Okay, in 2 minutes, Debbie, please introduce yourself, plus tell us something about yourself that we did not read in your bio.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Deborah Dotson. I go by Debbie. I guess, let's see, what did you not read in my bio? That I grew up in Michigan, and I've been in California since 1988. So I actually consider this my home. Side note, they're jackhammering in cul-de-sac 216 outside my window right now, so I apologize if you can hear that. That I was a contestant on the original supermarket sweep in 1993, and I won.
Okay. You have time left?
I have one adult son and 2 adult stepsons. I have 5 grandkids ranging from age 7 to 14. And up until a back issue, I was an avid triathlete and cyclist.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. And don't forget, you can tell us when you introduce yourself, anything about yourself, including what's in your bio, then just in addition to what's in there, because not everyone has read your bio. So in addition to your bio, you can tell us something about yourself that we did not know. So the second person is Isan. You have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and then add something that we did not read in your bio. And Isan, you're on.
I was born in Iran, came here like 30 years ago, have been here since then. I've been in, I know this is my bio, but I've been in construction business and then own a restaurant. Right now I'm running a restaurant, a Golden Corral restaurant in Bellflower. I have a daughter who is in medical school and only one child. And I have been living here for about 9 months. I'm pretty new. My hobbies are like paintings and badminton and recently pickleball because the court is open luckily. So I just came back from playing. Like to be a part of the community and help as much as I can. It's a short story of my life. Long story is probably a 200-page book and 5 books of 200 each.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Well, then thank you very much, Isan.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeff, you'll be next. 2 minutes. Introduce yourself, and you can add something that is not in your bio.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Jeffrey, but I go by Jeff Grider. I have just recently moved into Laguna Woods, but my history with Laguna Woods goes way back. I was born here in Burbank and lived there for 9 years, like a block away from Disney Studios there. Lived there for 9 years, then moved to La Cañada and then Huntington Beach for 3 years, at which time, after my first year of high school, I was uprooted and had to move to New York. So I lived in New York, Long Island. I went to school upstate New York at Cornell University, where I met my current wife. We've been married for 42 years, going on 42 years. And my parents are the reason why I had to move to New York, because my father was transferred. He worked for the LA Times and was transferred to New York to run Newsday, which is a huge newspaper out there. And when they came back, and when I graduated from college, they came back to California and lived. Since 1993, they moved into Laguna Woods, at the time Leisure World. And so I've spent a lot of time in Laguna Woods, although I haven't been living here for the last 3 months. But I've been renting here, and while we're renovating my parents' home, which I inherited. So I'm very familiar with Laguna Woods. I love it. We have 2 kids. They both live locally. They're married. My daughter is 8 months pregnant in Aliso Viejo. My son and daughter-in-law are in Laguna Niguel, purchased our home in Laguna Niguel that we sold to them so that we could move to Laguna Woods. So I'm firmly entrenched in this area. And I'm a musician, a singer, an avid golfer, and I'm looking forward to pursuing those interests when we move in. Hopefully within about a month, we move into our fully renovated home.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. Well done. Okay, next is Joan Milliman. 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Joan Milliman, and I've been here 12 years. I served on GRF board for 5 years previously. I was secretary and a member of the Community Activities Committee and chair for Media and Communications. I think my main skills are in critical thinking and communication. And I'm also interested in building teams. I studied with Anderson School of Management when I was a teacher, and we were working on building teams. So I'm very interested in getting all the boards and our board working together. I've been a member of various groups here in the village. I'm currently secretary of Robert's Rules Study Club, and we're going to be starting up on the 9th of this month. You guys will get a message to come and visit us online, hopefully. I hope to serve again as a board member, and would enjoy doing that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a message that Brad has arrived. I don't see him on the screen. Grant, do we have a video with Brad, or is he just on the phone?
I do see he has joined the meeting. If he would like to turn on his camera.
Just in time, too. Okay, Brad, can you hear us? I don't see anything with those initials. Oh, there it is at the top of my screen. And now I see that. Are you able to do that at all? Glance at your end? Control him at all?
Unfortunately, I have not. It sounds like looks like he was having some technical issues.
Okay, well, we'll move on. We can come on back to that question with him later. Okay, the second question. Only 3 people have been chosen to answer the second question. It is a 1-minute answer. The first one to answer is going to be Ethan, then Jonah, and then if Brad shows up, Brad will be third. In 1 minute, Ethan, since this is just 72-day term, what impact or difference do you expect to make on this board in such a short term? Ethan. 1 minute to answer. Did you understand the question?
Right. I'm not really expecting to make any significant impact. I just think that this will be a start point, maybe to know the board and maybe to continue in the future. But it's short time. But for the current matters of the board, I may be able to help. But I don't expect significant impact. And I'm not claiming any.
Understood. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Jonah, can you answer in 1 minute?
Sure. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. What impact do you expect to make?
Well, this is kind of a warm-up position leading to the election on November 12th. As far as an impact, I'm not sure, but I will say that I am a CPA, and I understand about deadlines and pressure. So I'm familiar with getting things done as quickly as possible and efficiently. Again, I'm a CPA, I'm a CFP, I'm from New York, so I understand about getting things done. And I hope to make an impact. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question, Brad, he's not here yet. Is he here?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to go back and ask you the first question and the second question. The first one is you have 2 minutes or up to 2 minutes to answer. Introduce yourself and then tell us one thing or something about you that we were not able to read in your bio. Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Well, my name is Brad Park. I moved into Laguna Woods Village about 3 and a few months ago. I have my background in the professional field is 1, food-related issues, food safety issues, and 2, green building related business, and 3, emergency medical field. So I understood that those issues or those fields will be very beneficial to the Laguna Woods Village operation. And that's pretty much of my background. And
okay.
Yes. And I have listed pretty much of what I have done. And my suggestion is there are a lot of room to improve in Laguna Woods Village's operation as far as building codes and food safeties and medical emergency situation handling. So I thought my experiences would be useful to the community.
Okay. Thank you. I've already got you tagged for a couple of committees. Okay, your second question that we just asked a couple other people, you get 1 minute to answer. Since this is just a 72-day term, what impact do you expect to make in such a short amount of time? Go, 1 minute.
Well, probably one thing I could accomplish is learning how the Laguna Woods Village, especially Rain Foundation, operates under this pandemic situation. This is a very unique also very important time frame. So we need to adjust ourselves under this emergency situation, and that's something I'm looking forward to fill in such a short time frame.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go on to question number 3. Only 3 people have been tagged to answer this question. It is a 2-minute answer. And the first person to answer will be Debbie, the second one will be Jeff, and the third one will be Joan. So Debbie, first, do you agree with the direction the GRF board is going now? Why or why not? So.
Oh, okay, great. In some ways, yes, I do. I've spent the last few weeks reading through all of the information that's been online. Some of my questions are unanswered because some of the things are not posted online. So yes, in general, I do agree with the GRF board on most matters. However, some of the things that I really have concerns about, and I'm sure that many people on the board as well have these concerns, is, becoming, finding a strategic plan that can carry us into the next 20, 30 years that we can afford. And I think that's probably the number one issue that we face right now is how can we be financially responsible and yet stay in a situation with the community where we can keep up all of the upkeep and the maintenance and the things that are necessary. So to bring this back around, yes, in general, I agree with some of what's on the GRF board, but if I agreed 100%, I would be one of the community members that didn't want to participate because I believe that you can complain about things, but unless you take action to change things, then you don't really have a right to speak too loudly. So that's why I'm here. My goal is to learn as much as I can to find out where we can do better.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the second person to answer that 2-minute question is Jeff. Do I need to repeat the question?
I don't think so.
Okay. Go ahead, 2 minutes, starting now.
I also am in general agreement with the direction that it's going. Having served on a number of boards in the past of homeowners associations, and frankly, having represented a number of homeowners associations as their counsel, I've seen the gamut of problems and issues, and also the gamut of how they can be solved creatively. And that's really my mantra is where there's a will, there's a way. There has to be, we have to think outside of the box and come up with creative solutions to problems. I mean, just one example here. I don't know to what extent it's been discussed, but I've been renting in Gate 1 and on Calle Aragon, and I've been interested to see how many cars go racing down the street at obviously more than 25 miles an hour, sometimes just dangerously quickly. And so one thing that I've noticed in all of the associations I've lived in is that they have, to some extent, employed speed bumps. I don't know to what extent that's been considered here, but it may be something that would make sense on some of the major streets, like Calle Aragon. But I look forward to finding positive solutions and creative solutions to issues which are always going to present themselves. And in this new world of COVID, I think we're all we're all interested to see how things, what new problems present themselves and new solutions can be arrived at.
Thank you very much. Very well
Sure.
said. Okay, Joan, you're on. 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I think generally I agree with the direction the board's been taking, especially in this time with COVID around us. I must agree with the others that we have to do what we can as we can afford it. There are some urgent things that need to be done first, and they're going to take the place of whatever else we might want. So we need to take our time, do it carefully so that we keep the village as safe and secure as we can. I think one of the mistakes we've made in the past is to outline something that's too big to be done now. And we have to remember for the village to let them know that we can do it in pieces. And I think that's an important thing. I think for the most part, the board's been doing that, and I think it's made a big difference. So, yes, I agree, generally speaking, with the way the board's going.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry for interrupt, Judith. Is it okay that we just go to the center and give them the ballot, or it's late now?
We'll have to call staff about that. We're going to discuss that at the end of the questions. They'll be telling you that at the end of the questions. Okay, Nita? Yes. So
Thank you, because I saw that it says 10:30, and I said that maybe I'm late.
No. Grant will give everyone instructions because you really can't vote until after you've heard everybody's answers.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you.
I apologize, people, for those interruptions. The next question, it's really interesting. A couple of you have already answered it, and I only have 4 people selected, and you happen to be 2 of the 4 people. So, but it's a very important question, I think. The answer is a 2-minute answer. It is a 2-part question. 4 people will answer it, but I'm going to read it twice. GRF just finished its budget process. Even though you did not participate in the full process this year for the 2021 budget, and may or may not get to participate next year for the 2022 budget, what would your thoughts be going forward to keep assessments down while maintaining a superior level of service at the same time? Or is that even possible? And I'm going to repeat the important part of the question. What are your thoughts going forward to keep assessments down while maintaining a superior level of service at the same time? And is that even possible? Debbie, you're up first. 2-minute answer. Go.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a great question, both parts of it. With the budget already in place, I think one of the things would be to have monitoring of those specific budget items for extra eyes to make sure that they're staying within the budget. So although we might not be able to change this year's budget, we certainly can make sure that we stay within those budget numbers by carefully and concisely following whatever those things are. So, for example, making sure that any water usage, things of those natures that would be under the GRF budget would be handled. So. I understand that our budget has already been created for the upcoming year. I understand that those numbers are in place. I understand that the increases in the assessments have already been posted. However, in order for it to not keep happening year after year after year, we have to really scrutinize the budget as it's being spent in the upcoming calendar year so that we can not keep facing $20 plus assessments every year after year after year. That's kind of why I'm here, is because, for some people, $20 for all three, for all the different assessments might not seem like a lot, but to others, that makes the difference between them being able to afford food. So we have to be cognizant of that, and we have to make sure that we're scrutinizing those budget items for the upcoming year. And that's basically what I would, why I feel compelled to be here today.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. I don't have to do just in time. 1:59. Okay, and I apologize, I didn't read the names. The second's going to be Joan, the third's going to be Brad, and the fourth is going to be Jeff. And these were all picked out of a hat at random order. And I apologize if others are chomping at the bit to answer this. But Joan, you'll be next. 2-minute answer. And the biggest part of this is, how do we keep assessments down while maintaining a superior level of service? And is that even possible? So I'm curious to see your answer because you've been on boards a while. Go.
Is it possible? I think it might be, but it's going to take, as Deborah pointed out, careful monitoring. And that doesn't mean that we're doing hands-on in the same to interfere, but we really need to be aware of how the money is being spent every month and have our clear reports so we know what's going on. I think the service, if it isn't kept up, will deteriorate the village and take down our value. So I think it's important to keep the service as good as it is, if at all possible. We may have to stop some of the other ongoing projects or slow them down if necessary. That's happened in the past where we have to delay things, and that can happen. But I think that the village service is what sells this place and keeps us all happy. So that's very important. And I think just being able to monitor how things are going through monthly reports and carefully checking it, I think is really important.
Okay, thank you. Plenty of time. Before the next two answer, I just want to add, although we've gone through the process, one of you six will be elected today, and you will sit on the board tomorrow, where we will have the final vote on the budget. So even though you didn't get to participate in the process and how we got there, before the vote tomorrow, it would be nice for you to go back and brief yourself a little bit on how we got there.
Yeah.
So the third person to speak on this is Brad. You have 2 minutes. Do I need to repeat the question? And we don't see a microphone. You need to hit your mic, Brad. I can't hear him. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay. Even though I was not able to participate in this project process, let me use my general and common sense on this budgeting issue. First, under this very emergency type situation, the first one is how to prepare ourselves for flexibility. Right now, on the tight budget, and trying to get the flexibility out of it is kind of like squeezing water out of a dry towel. It's almost impossible, but that's always the situation. We have to look at every corner where we could manage to get the flexibility out of our budget. And second thing is prioritizing our needs. So I'm sure that we have done it. We need to look at under this extremely difficult situation. So you look at every corner. Then the third would be, are we looking outside of the box? Meaning, we have a set budget, but at the same time, we have a lot of aid programs or state, federal, and local government situations. Are we looking at all those situations? So we can manage to maximize our budget situation. That's my answer.
Good. Thank you. Okay, and last is Jeff. Do I need to repeat the question? Jeff, we can't hear you. Hit your mic. There you go. Thank
Sorry. No, I don't need it repeated. Thank you. So again, because of the uniqueness of this year and the last 5-6 months, 7 now, with COVID-19, I think we all have to look at all aspects of our lives in a different way, including obviously the management and financial budgeting of a large homeowners association like this. So we have to look at it in a new way, and I assume that in formulating the budget that the board did that, and so I doubt that I would be making any suggestions with respect to the budget they've already formulated. However, going forward, if I'm involved in the formulation of the budget for next year, for I guess 2022, I would definitely want to look at things differently than I would have 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I know that the major budget items for associations are generally water, irrigation, and labor. Obviously, the labor handling and costs are going to be very different in the COVID era. I'm sure that there's been a lot of, I know that there have been a lot of remote changes so that a lot of work is being done remotely, and I think that's going to be the case going forward for the near future, foreseeable future. So that has to be taken into account. And also, I think communication is essential, communication with the members, as far as balancing the needs and the cost of supplying those or meeting those needs.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. Okay, the fifth question. It requires only a 1 minute or up to 1 minute answer. 4 people have been selected. Question. Oh, it'll be Jeff first, Isan second, Jonah third, and Brad fourth. If elected, are you amiable to listening or taking advice from a veteran director who has 3 or more years of experience? Jeff, up to a 1 minute answer.
Oh, absolutely. The experience and advice of a tenured member on the board would be invaluable. I would not be presumptuous enough to believe or suggest that I might have better solutions to, or a better viewpoint on items and issues that have been addressed by someone for the past several years better than they could. I would certainly not be limited to, I wouldn't feel limited to expressing my opinions, but I would definitely be amenable to deferring to someone who's been on the board longer than I have.
Okay, thank you. The second one to answer that question would be Isan. 1 minute.
I think that's an obvious answer, which the answer is yes. I believe it's several months that he's left from this year. It will be kind of like training for the new members like us, whom they have never been in the board. So I think we should have, or I will have, the observation and learning process during this time, at least several months. to know how the board works, how everything works, how everybody are fitting into the structure of this system and how things run. And then they start giving the ideas based on the structure of the board. Otherwise, I'm not coming just to start giving ideas without knowing how everything works here. So the answer is yes, of course.
Of course. Okay, thank you. I know it seems like a trick question, but we could always tell in your answer a lot more about you than just a yes or no. So Jonah, your next, same 1 minute answer. Oh, we can't hear you. There you go. Okay, I'll start over. So, okay, can you hear us?
That's for me, right?
Yeah, that's for you, Jonah. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Of course, that's an obvious answer. There's nothing like experience to learn from someone else and to get familiar with how the board operates and the policies and procedures. So, of course, I'm amenable to listening. Ultimately, on the board, it would be my decision, my background, my experience to make that decision. But of course, nothing like experience in the world, whether it be coworkers or your parents or what you've learned in life. So, yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Brad, you're the last one to answer that question.
Yes. Yes. Well, in short, the answer is yes, of course. I am very interested in listening to my previous directors on the Golden Rain Foundation. Not just that, probably we need to take a more aggressive position. Come to them and listen to their wisdom, whatever that is available then and now. So my answer is yes. Well, I will seek for the wisdom of my previous directors.
Okay. Thank you. Question number 6. 4 people have been selected. The answer is up to 1 minute. First will be Jonah, then Ethan, Debbie, and fourth is Joan. What is the difference between an HOA director and a GRF director? Joan, you're last because you have the obvious, you know this. That's why. So, Jonah, you first. Do you know the difference?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat it? I lost you for 1 second here.
That's okay. Okay. What is the difference between an HOA director and a GRF director? Up to 1 minute to answer.
An HOA is on the board to go over the assessments and the budgets and so forth. The GRF is making policies and procedures for the association. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Isan, you're second. Oh, hello? Yeah. Isan, you're next.
I really don't know the exact answer. I don't know the detail, I should say. But I think GRF are making the total or bigger decision, and the strategy, and HOA are making the more like working. It's like a CEO and CFO. I know, so that's what I think, but I'm not sure. I should say I don't know exactly. So that is just what I think.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, third is Debbie. 1 minute. Do I need to repeat the question?
No, I believe I understand the question. My understanding is that, we have a hierarchy here in the woods, and, VMS is the managing partner. GRF is the foundation that holds the trust for the entire complex. And the two boards, the HOAs, which is United and report up into GRF, so everything's rolled into it. So each HOA has their own board of directors who handle, so for example, in Third Mutual, the condo ownerships, so they have their own HOA. They're dealing with the individual units and the individual owners and the upkeep and maintenance of those bodies, versus the GRF is a more an umbrella, so to speak. So they're over all of that. So a percentage of our HOA dues go to GRF to oversee all of our clubhouses and all of our infrastructure for Laguna Woods. That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Joan, you're last.
Okay. All the boards make policy decisions, and the HOA boards, the HOA directors are in charge of the condos and the co-ops, in other words, the households, whereas GRF is in charge of the common grounds, amenities, and services for the village. So they are they oversee all of us, but there is no difference as far as level is concerned. Each one has its own responsibility. So they make policies for each area. HOAs for the homeowners and GRF for the grounds. Done.
Okay. Thank you, Joan. Okay, number 7. You get 1 minute is the answer. 3 people have been selected. Brad will answer first, then Debbie, and then Isan. Why do you think it's important to have a good relationship between the GRF and the HOA boards? And you had to really understand the first question to get this one. So, but give it a try. Brad?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. First of all, well, it's under Laguna Woods Village. The system is a little bit more specific and more complex than other smaller HOA in nearby communities. One thing specific is VMS, Golden Rain Foundation, and other areas. They have a very specified field that they are in charge of or responsible for. So VMS is more of an internal contracted service to do what the Golden Rain Foundation approved and requested. So, yeah, the role is very specific and it is clearly defined by the bylaw.
Okay, thank you. A second will be Debbie. Do I need to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Why do you think it's important to have a good working relationship between GRF and the HOA boards?
Okay. First of all, the thing I would like to say is we have to have a symbiotic relationship. We can't exist without each other. So it's more important for us all to work together as one large team, even though we each direct the policies for our respective HOAs and GRF, but we can't exist without each other, and we need to be team members and work together for the greater good of Laguna Woods Village. So that's really what I have to say about that, is that we must work together. So why not make it a good relationship rather than have people, be at odds? There's no reason for us to be at odds. We all have the same end goal in mind.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go 2. Isan, you're third. Do you want me to repeat the question?
So I know the question. I think if I answer logically, it's the board and HOA, they both are basically looking for the same goal. And the goal is to run the community as well as possible. And they are like, members of a body or different parts of a car. They have to work together in the right way in order to reach the goal, the final goal. So if they are not having a good relationship with each other, they cannot reach the goal that eventually at the end they are the same. So not even going through their work and their responsibilities, logically we look at it, we have to say that they need to work together. There is no other way. They cannot be not working together and having a not good relationship. Otherwise, neither one can reach their goals. So to me, it's an obvious thing.
Okay, thank you. Just in time. Okay. Okay. Okay, you can stop now. Okay. Sorry about that. It's wonderful twice. Okay, question number 8. 3 people have been selected for this one. The answer is up to 1 minute. The first candidate will be Jeff, then Joan Milliman, and then Jonah. Describe your leadership style. Jeff, up to 1 minute.
Okay. I'm trying to think of one word and description, but definitely collaborative, not dictatorial. I think that we all, as we've been talking about, working together, that's the main thing, because you get more with honey than you do with the with the carrot rather than the stick. So I think, again, the most important thing in leadership is communication, and the way that you communicate with people that you're supervising or leading. And so I think that's the key thing. And I think I have very good communication skills and have developed that in serving as president and vice president of homeowners associations, and also serving on committees and Parks and Recreation Commission for the city of Laguna Niguel, and the Environmental Review Board on the city of Laguna Niguel, and vice chairman of that group. Was very successful in working together with the other members of the board to achieve great results and solutions to problems.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Joan, you're up next. Describe your leadership style.
Well, I think it's communication above everything else, and communication is a two-way street. It's listening as well as speaking. And when you're speaking as a leader, you want to make sure that the subject matter, whatever it might be, is clear. And so it would be your job to clarify any problems and so on that all of us might have, and then working together towards creative solutions, and allowing everyone to have a chance to speak, whether for or against, or new ideas, and just simply making sure that everyone gets a chance to be heard. And that's what Robert's rules are all about, which I love. However, that's only part of it. So communication and equal communication is probably my style.
Okay. Thank you. Jonah, describe your leadership style.
I would say it in 2 words. I'm a team player. In life, working for CPA firms working with clients. And when I was in New York, I was on the engine company for a volunteer fire department. So you have to work as a team to get the job done, whether it be business, putting out a fire, or rescuing somebody. And I think it's important for everyone on the board to work together to resolve any issues and problems we may face in Laguna Woods. And I'm really looking forward to trying to help achieve that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next, number 9. I have 1 minute answer, but if you want to take up to a minute and a half, we'll allow that because of the time. Okay, all 6 of you are going to answer this. So some might have longer answers than others. Since you are running for a very important position, which 2 departments do you think are the most important to running this village? Yes, we need them all, and they all are important. But more importantly, which 2 departments do you think are the backbone or the nucleus of this village? And this is just an opinion. Some examples of our departments is finance, mobility vehicles, maintenance construction, recreation, security, resident services, social services, et cetera, et cetera. So from what you know about the village, and then there's many other departments, all 6 of you will answer this, and this will be the order. Jonah will be first, then Joan Milliman, third will be Jeff, then Isan, then Debbie, and 6th will be Brad. So again, out of all the departments, which 2, in your opinion, could be considered the backbone or the nucleus of the village? 1 to 2 minutes. Jonah.
Hi again. Without a doubt, finance to me is the most important department, because without money, we can't operate the village. A little bit of my little background: I worked for a CPA firm who dealt with the homeowners association, so I have the experience and the background. But without money, let's face it, we can't operate. And it's important to understand finance, budgets, expenditures, how much income is coming in. Everything else will flow through after that. But in my opinion, finance is the most important department in Laguna Woods. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Second is Joan Milliman.
Okay. Well, as a former English teacher, of course, communication for me is one of the most important departments, and communication is evident through every other department that we know. And without it, we don't know what we're doing. So I would say communication is first, and then I have a tie between maintenance and construction and finance, because with maintenance, I guess I'd say for now that maintenance and construction, if the research is done properly, is vital to the community. Our projects rely on good research from maintenance and construction, and their advice is so important as we go forward with projects.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have Jeff.
Okay, I heard in your statement of the question, I heard 3 words. I think I heard at one point you asked which are the most important, and I have a view on that. And then later you said which are the backbone and nucleus of GRF. So I might have a little different answer for those 2 things. Most important to me are probably security and residential services. Residential services is, as I think Joan mentioned, it includes communication with the residents. and that's huge. I think I've made that pretty clear how I feel about communications, and people need to feel like they have a voice and that they're being heard, and that if they need help from resident services, that they are going to get it in a satisfactory way and in a satisfactory time frame. Security seems to be maybe the most important thing, because that's the one that bears on life and property. You know, if security breaks down, we're all in trouble. And so I think and totally respect and value the services of the security department. And if you go to backbone and nucleus, then I agree with Jonah. I mean, you know, everything goes back to dollars, and finances could be considered the backbone and nucleus of GRF. And then I'd like to think that the others are not far behind the more frivolous things, such as, you know, recreation, social services, that type of thing. I think those are very important as well, but probably would have to take a little backseat to the ones I mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, before I go to the next three, I just want to summarize the question again. Of course, all of our departments are important and we need them all. But in your opinion, which two departments are the backbone or work as a nucleus to keep this village running? Isan, you have up to 2 minutes.
I think the question is which departments are important to make the community running. And running means we need to make it work. And definitely to me, maintenance is number one to keep the place running, as the question says. Second is, if we are involved in maintenance, then we need to keep the balance sheet. We need to keep the finances. Then finance comes the board. So I think maintenance and finance are the two number one backbone of the departments.
Okay.
Because without the maintenance, everything will fall apart. And without the correct finance, maintenance cannot happen. So those two are, you know, hand in hand, very important. You know, we're just like right now, we can close the clubhouses. It doesn't really have a crucial impact in the community. It is very important, but it's not the number one priority. As we see right now, most of the clubhouses are closed. If the buildings are collapsing and everything is deteriorating and the roads are bad, maintenance is bad, then the whole thing will collapse. If the money is not in, the whole thing will collapse. So these two, to me, are the priorities.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Debbie, you're up next.
Okay, so this is a multifaceted question, and it's hard to identify too, as we've just heard. One of the things that came to mind as you were asking this question and reiterating it is that we all have a hierarchy of needs. And so a nucleus, if you look at it from a cell structure in the human biology, finance would have to be there because you have to have money to do any of the things that come next. So it's hard not to answer finance as one of the two. From there, resident services has to be the next because that encompasses all of the activities, which is maintenance, because you go to resident services to get maintenance requests fulfilled. So I would say that those two have to be the highest ones for me as far as the nucleus being finance and then resident services. However, I think one thing that's not been discussed here is the recreation services and the impact on the psychological needs of our community as a whole right now. And so although it seems self-evident that, oh, our clubhouses are closed and, the pool just opened and things like that. If you spend any time reading any of the information on Nextdoor of what people are talking about, the psychological needs of our community are not being met at the moment because people need the gyms, they needed the pools. People moved to Laguna Woods because of our amenities. So I don't think we can discount the fact that recreation services have to play a part in this. But whether or not they're in the nucleus, no, they are on the peripheral. But personal security and the resources and our property are our utmost concern. So finance and resident services are my answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more person on this question is Brad. Is this right or wrong answer, by the way? It's an opinion.
Yes. Well, just think of a house being built. The foundation, I should say, finance is the foundation of a house. Then there are walls going up. Those are the maintenance and resident services together. Keeping all the winds and outside forces combined. Then Golden Rain Foundation is the roof that manages everything to operate properly. And I would not say any of the departments has not been mentioned are not important. But this is an emergency situation under this pandemic situation that prioritizing our resources is extremely important. So finances and maintenance residential service would be the main key. And the third, if I may, would be the medical alert, communication system, resident services, all those combined. We need to have the medical alert provided to everybody in this community. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I just want to say this question was posed because it defines your logistical thinking. And that's why I had everybody answer it, because there was no right or wrong answer. It was just opinion, but it did define if you can or do think logistically, which is a big thing in the GRF world here. Okay, last question, and then we'll decide or have Bunny Carpenter, President, decide if we want to open a question or two up to the chat box. The last question I have is also for everyone, all six. It can be a 1 minute answer. So a minute and a half because we're doing good on the time. The order this time will be Joan Milliman, then Jeff, then Jonah, then Debbie, then Brad, finally Ethan. The question is, Joan, why you? Why should we elect you? Go.
No. Okay. Okay. Why should he elect me? I think probably one of the reasons is my experience, not only on the GRF board, where I did quite a bit of work with the Media and Communications Committee and the CAC and landscape, but my experience elsewhere in the village includes being president of many groups, including Friends of the Village, and I'm secretary now of Robert's Rules Study Club. So I've had a good deal of experience in boards here in the village. Also, communications are really my skill, and building teams is another one that I really feel important about. So I feel that I can communicate the board transparently to television and in writing for residents when we're trying to make a decision, and maybe improve ways that residents communicate with the boards. which is very important, especially at this time with COVID-19. It's also important to keep inter-board communication, and my awareness of the governance in the village and how the boards work together and manage work together is important. So I would work towards better communication all around, from residents and to board members. That's my main thing. I'm also a pretty good thinker, so logical thinking is another thing that I work on. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, plenty of time. Thank you, Joan. Okay, next we have Jeff. You can take up to 2 minutes.
Thank you.
This is like your final statement. Why should we pick you? So anything you left out of the first part, like there was a question in the chat box, someone left something out of the first question, you can include it here. So that's why I changed it up to 2 minutes. Go.
Thank you. Speaking of logical and logistical thinking, those are the basic groundwork of a legal education, which I have, and nearly 40 years of practice as a California litigation attorney, real estate and construction attorney. So I have a great ability. That's a real strong point of mine to think. Again, I said outside the box, but to employ logistical and logical thinking. And I believe there's a solution to every problem. You just have to be creative to find it. My experience having a legal education and being an attorney always helps in every other aspect of life to just have that perspective and know what the potential pitfalls are. And then I've served on a number of associations, on the boards of a number of homeowners associations as president, vice president for years. And so I have that experience in working with others collaboratively. Not in Laguna Woods yet, but that's only because I'm just new to Laguna Woods. Look forward to employing that experience in Laguna Woods. Also, I've served for over 10 years on City of Laguna Niguel commissions, Parks and Rec Commission, Environmental Review Board, and so for over 10 years. So obviously I have a great deal of experience in working collaboratively with others, members on a board. Also just recently completed the preeminent training in the country on mediation and arbitration, but mainly mediation and alternative dispute resolution at Pepperdine University. And that's gives me a tremendous viewpoint on how to solve problems.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, Jonah, why you? Oh, we can't hear you. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why not? Listen, everybody has experience in life, which is great for the board. But I'm a team player, and I think I'm very personable. I have a lot of friends here in Laguna Woods. I've only been here 2 years. I've made a lot of contacts. And to get things done, you have to have a personality and finesse. And I think I have that. I think I could, if I have an opinion on something, I could bring it to the board. We could discuss it. Again, experience and personality, I think, are two characteristics that we need to be on the GRF board. And I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to have me meet with you. And I wish everyone good luck in what happens today. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Debbie, you said you missed something the first time around. You have 2 minutes that you can include extra information.
Thank you. Why me? Well, I've lived in this community almost 3 years. I own 2 properties here, so I have a lot at stake. I love it here. I found this place, and I want to spend the next 30, 40 years of my life here. So I want to make sure that we have what we need to succeed and stay the community that I fell in love with. So I have over 40 years of leadership experience. I have a bachelor's degree in leadership and organizational development. I have a master's degree in education with a focus on learning and technology. I lost my corporate job as a regional sales manager in March due to COVID. They eliminated my position, and so I teach part-time, so I have time now to focus on the community. And I think that my leadership background will bring a lot of great skills to this role. And much like other people said, I have worked in teams for many, many years. So I feel, I'm proficient in budgets. I know how to do RFPs and RFQs for government. I know negotiation skills, and I teach at 2 universities right now part-time. So I'm used to working with all different types of people and have a very personable demeanor that I think will be an advantage to this board. And I think with my exemplary business experience, my solid work ethic, that I can make a difference here. And so I hope that you will choose me. Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Right on the dot. Okay. Next we have, I lost my sheet here. Brad, you're on. 2 minutes. Why you? I don't hear you yet. There you go.
I'm slow at pushing the button. It doesn't have to be me. But when you elect me as your representatives, you will get some extras, which is the laughter, smile on your face. I'm a member of Town Alley in Laguna Woods Village. We know how to laugh at ourselves, and we know how to laugh with others. And for this year, what we have missed so much, and probably the most, are how to laugh. And we need to get the joy back to our community. And we need to start from our own group. And I have no doubt that every one of you have the capacity of make this community better than ever. But please remember, whoever becomes the new member of the board, we need to laugh more, louder. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll have to take some lessons from you. I cracked 2 jokes in the beginning. You weren't on board yet, and nobody laughed. So I need some help with my, sense of humor or something. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it's a very different skill.
I'm accused of being too serious and too military. So, I need to work on that. We all have a week or two. Okay, last we have Isan. Why should we vote on you?
Okay, first of all, I have to go back a little bit. I have an engineering background, so I try to look at things kind of logically and practically. When you ask 2 most important things, and I gave you the answer, that did not mean other things are not important, as you mentioned. So if I said maintenance and finance, it doesn't mean, and I brought the example of clubhouses, it doesn't mean the clubhouses are not important. There are priorities in life. It's like you have 10 shirts. So is it important to have 5 shirts, or is it important to have not food? So, of course, it's important to have food and lose 5 shirts. Same as the clubhouses and same as the maintenance. Even though those are important to have 5 more shirts, and you may enjoy it, but it's not as important as food on your table. So when I came here, mostly I came here because of the amenities, because of the clubhouses, because of the sports, because I have a lot of, I enjoy painting and I enjoy sports all the time. So those 2 things were the main reasons that I came here. When I came here, I have been here for 9 months. My idea of going on the board is not just be a member of the board. When I came here, and I'm talking about maintenance, I asked for a maintenance since I came here, because when they came and they repaired the balconies, they dropped all the stock on the landscaping, and I called resident services 10 times, and they told me somebody will take care of it. They never took care of it. I want to be a part of the board as a resident, and I want to protect the residents' rights and work for them. I don't want them to be like me. I asked for my HOA statement 10 times. They told me they will send it to me. I never received them. So something is wrong somewhere. I asked for 2 things. One, financial thing, which is just a simple statement of my HOA, and I never received it. 2, a maintenance issue. So these 2 things that I said are important, they are not taken care of as much as I believe they should, and they are very important. So if I become a member of the board, I try to work the way that I am a resident and see how a resident sees things. Not be a member of the board just to sit there and pass the rules, pass the regulations, and be like bureaucratic member of the board. I look at the things practically, and I like to get the jobs done.
Okay, thank you.
And I look at it as a residence. And people don't have to. They shouldn't. Not you say, why should they? No, they don't have to vote for me. They have to vote for someone who can realize their needs, who can feel that they are working for them, who can feel that they have passion to work for them and make the community better, whoever that person is. And I will be happy to have someone like that in the board. That's what I need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, that was it for the 10 questions. And I just wanted to confirm, because a couple of people seem to misunderstand the question about the departments. They are all important, and I stated that. And what I was asking for, which 2 departments do you think work is the nucleus of the village with all the other departments in a supportive role? And that's what I was trying to get out, and everyone gave fantastic answers. But it wasn't that one department was more important. It was which ones were acting more as a nucleus and which ones were acting more of a supportive role. And so that's what I wanted to see if you guys are able to identify that. And everybody did a fantastic job there. And I'd like to, Bunny Carpenter, are you back in the meeting? Okay. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to you. So we would be on number 6, explanation of voting procedures for ballot measure.
Okay, thank you, Judith. And I want to thank all the candidates. And everyone has great skill sets. And I just want to remind you that if you don't get elected, we would be very happy to have you on some of our committees. And being an advisor on a committee will help you, to really understand what our processes are, because GRF really does have a big responsibility. So with that, the purpose of the corporate members vote is to fill one vacancy on the Golden Rain Foundation board, term to conclude in 2020.
President Carpenter.
At the annual election on November.
Yes? The Inspector of Election would like to have a statement.
Would you repeat that? The Inspector of Election would like what?
To have a statement.
Okay.
Okay, Bunny, it's Catherine.
And that's Catherine?
I'm supposed to explain the voting procedures, so I'm going to go over and do that, okay?
Okay.
Okay? The purpose of the corporate members'
Yes, go
vote
ahead. Yeah.
is to fill one vacant
Okay.
seat on the GRF, on the Golden Rain Foundation Board, term to conclude in 2020 at the annual election on November 12th, 2020. We're going to need to entertain a motion to commence balloting. The corporate members will have 30 minutes to complete their ballot and return it to the Inspector of Elections in the front of the community center. Who would like to entertain a motion to commence balloting?
Do I hear a motion?
I so
To
move.
commence. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay.
Kush.
Okay, the motion passed. So we will now recess for the purpose of voting on a prepared ballot form and reconvene the corporate members meeting it's 12:06. So basically, I think, Catherine, do you think we need more than a half hour? Or do you think a half hour is enough?
Half an hour for you guys to get it here, but then I do need time to calculate the ballots, so another 30 minutes, okay?
Okay, it's 1 o'clock, and I'll call the meeting to order, or we can make a reconvening, so that we can know the results of the election. So I'll now like to hear a motion to cease balloting. Do I hear a motion?
This is Juanita. I so move.
Okay, second.
I second.
Okay, the motion is passed. So do we have Catherine here that will be able to give us the counting and the tabulation of the votes?
Okay, yes. The winner is Joan Milliman with 5,640 votes.
Okay. My goodness, that's congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
That's great. I really appreciate it, and
Thank
welcome you to our board again. Yes. All right.
I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
Okay. You provide a great contribution, I know. Okay, so the next item says certification of election executed. So we did that, right? As far as the certification?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Okay. So now we are able to adjourn the meeting. And Joan, I'll talk to you afterwards, okay?
Yeah, I'll just hang on, okay?
Okay. All right. That will be good. All right, everybody, the meeting's over, and thank you. Thank you.
Joan. Congratulations, Joan.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much.
See you next